Life these days is just full of irritation and disruption. Emails, phone calls, texts. I imagine this is probably one of the last places in the world you can come and get away from technology. I'm just loving that. I haven't missed New Zealand's obsession with the road toll over the Christmas holiday period. I'm not sad I missed repeats of The Vicar of Dibley. I haven't missed those TV news stories where nothing's going on, so some of the reporters will do a holiday file where they report from a camping ground. I'm not missing the New Year's Day news reports that there's been 1,000 arrests at Mount Maunganui for the annual bottle throw. I'm actually finding it incredibly stress-free. Oh yeah, sure, a blizzard could come and I could get eaten alive by a skewer, but apart from that, there's none of those little irritants that always just ratcheting up the living in the modern world. I could spend a lot longer down here. Because this, for me, feels like home. And I've slept in rooms with men that smell like goats. And the whole thing about Scott Base, it's a really environmentally aware place. So obviously, I don't want to use too much water. So these clothes are about 10 days old, so it seems about the right day to do the washing. And just like in New Zealand, before you wash, go through your pockets. The water's so hard, they just want you to use such a little amount of detergent. They've actually chopped that right down. Good idea at home, actually, if you're thinking if your kid's using too much laundry, just cut that out. So that's the absolute maximum you can use. Beautiful.
The water I'm using for my laundry, in fact all the water used at Scott Base, is pumped up through the pack ice from the ocean and put through a desalination process to make it fresh.
Now, as part of the whole recycling thing, they're not allowed anything with a bone in it. So all the meat, chicken, beef, whatever, is deboned. So tonight's meat, it's like a cheaper cut, just no bones at all. And that's just to save on packaging all the bones and sending them back as well. So, and also, they don't want the penguins to catch chicken diseases from the poultry bones.
But with a population of about 80 people on the base chomping through 3 square meals a day, there is considerable amount of human waste. But luckily they've employed the right man to take care of it.
Tell me, Don, what's going on?
What happens here, this is where we treat all our raw sewage.
Just looks like a deep fryer or something, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, I don't think I'd like some chips out of that sucker.
Scott Base is serious about their sewage.
Oh, they're very much. They don't have to do this, they can put it straight out to sea. But they've put a lot of time, a lot of money, and they're constantly working on it.
So the water going into the Ross Sea is good water?
It's had all the solids removed and all the bacteria's been killed.
But we don't end up drinking this, it doesn't come back through the taps. I couldn't say, Don, have a cup of this and you would. For $1,000 bucks?
No. This is what we call the corn bag. That's where all the sweepings go. It's quite pretty, isn't it? No, the water just comes in.
Don't put your hand in, Don.
Yeah, the water just comes in. Yeah. What we get down here is just poo.
False teeth?
Haven't seen any
Toothbrushes?
Yet. Haven't found any.
Animals out of the cereal?
No. You had enough?
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, I mean, you're not going to want a webcam on that, are you? This is the finished product.
There we are.
So you're double bagging?
Yeah, well, I would normally. I'd fold it up, tie into a knot, and then double bag again. And then it goes out into a 44-gallon drum, which is sealed again, and then it goes into a container, which will go on the ship when it turns up in February. You get pissed off with the jobs you get, because some of them are really shitty jobs, but then you go downstairs and you open the door and you look out over the sea ice, and that's why you're here, because you work a lot. And some of the jobs I do are really crappy.
But also all your stuff's helping preserve it out there and make it look so good, otherwise it'd be, yeah.
The idea is to try and leave as little footprint as possible. And these are the drums ready to be filled, and these two here are the ones that we've filled at the moment. They're on the process. So You wait till they're filled up.
God, it's nothing, is it?
Yeah.
It's just corn.
I would have been through 12 drums in 2 months.
Which is hardly any, eh?
Yeah. No, it cuts it down to a cake mix. It's really fine.
And today is the day I get my skidoo licence. Hell, I don't really know what to say about Antarctica. I mean, look, it's ice and snow everywhere. The only colour is white with a bit of black. It's 24-hour sunlight. I haven't experienced anything like this before in my life. But at the same time, it seems quite normal. I'm completely at home here. I'm not restless. I just love it. You work out what to wear, and it's just the most fascinating place. And I'm finding it really relaxing. Maybe too relaxing. When I go back to New Zealand and I get stopped by the feds, the police, I get asked to see my licence, I can show them my licence, motorbike and car, and also I can say, officer, would you like to see my skidoo licence? That might be a bit of a conversation starter with the cops. Oh, you're a bit of a phone guy, let you off your fine. Officer, would you like to see my skidoo licence? Oh, no thank you, but you're free to go. 2 steps to a simple sleep. You get your 80s earmuff. That goes over your eyes. That's the instant Stevie Wonder. Then you get the down there over your tauranga. And that's good. That's good if you're doing the flatly or the coffin with your arms straight back like that. If you want to go sideways into the fetal, not quite as good. You got to slip it off at the back. But I normally do the coffin or the flatly, the Michael Flatley, so I normally just sleep like that. So ears sorted, eyes sorted, hands down there. Make sure I'm symmetrical. I won't be disturbed for about 9-10 hours. I'll get like that. And because this is Antarctica, the driest continent in the world, there's a ton of static electricity. So before you use any electronic equipment, so you don't shag it, what you've got to do is touch a metal plate to discharge yourself. Say I want to ring someone, phone, dial. Also, down here, what's a very popular form of workplace harassment, a new person comes down, rather than ask them to go to a workshop and ask for a long wait, what you do is you scuff yourself. If you get a bit of friction, if you rub yourself on the carpet a bit, you charge yourself up, new person comes and you go and touch them on the ear and you give them 40,000 volts. That's considered a laugh. Well, to me, it's like touching below the equator, but that's what they do here for a bit of fun. So, before you phone.
These people are slower in their movements and in their thinking. They're reflective. These qualities are they're a feature of the long-term isolation that they have been exposed to.
Snot, nasal mucus, these brown hankies, and a chance to combat common cold. I'm also a little bit crazy, and I think that helps too.
They're by no means pathological, but they've adapted to a different lifestyle, as indeed they've had to.
One of the young fellows here had a shower, and his feet actually froze the floor of the shower, and he needed hot water to free himself. If
they hadn't adapted, but they'd ripped away as if the world they've been living in was artificial and was just like the world up here, then there would be trouble.
We wanted to do Antarctica. We thought it would just be achievable. You know, there's been some amazing expeditions down there, but no one's ever managed to walk to the pole and come back, starting with all the stuff that they had to use, not getting any resupplies during the trip.
2 mates that do specialise in adapting to their environment, Antarctic conquerors Kevin Bigger and Jamie Fitzgerald.
The biggest challenge for me was to try and learn a new discipline. We arrived in Canada for a month-long training camp to learn how to kite ski and things, and it started to to snow, and I suddenly shrieked like a little girl and said, "It's snowing! It's snowing!" And this guy looked at me and he said, "What's the big deal?" And I said, "I've never been anywhere where it snowed before."
Yeah.
And in about 8 months' time, we're going to be undertaking this trip.
In an ideal world, we would have trained for the Antarctic, pulling a heavy sled through snow, but we didn't have that, so we pulled 4 lots of car tyres around the streets instead.
Probably between an hour and 8 hours each day.
Almost all the books about going to the South Pole, they always say the plane dropped us off, we jumped out, we hitched onto our sleds, and then we couldn't believe how hard it was to pull them. And we're like, come on, you knew how heavy they were before you went. You would have trained for that. So we were determined that as soon as we got,
Be away.
we'd have a big smile.
Yeah, we wanted to smile.
We'd be laughing.
She's a doddle.
Yeah. So 30 seconds into it, hear a voice from saying, "Hey, Kev, aren't we supposed to be laughing now?" We're like, uh-oh. We aren't laughing.
We have just really been stuffed by the deep snow, and it has been a real struggle.
My glutes are feeling it after all the cross-country skiing.
The first 3 days was just absolutely...
What
absolute
distance were you doing those first 3 days?
5 kilometres a day.
Oh, shades.
We only had so much food for each day. We had these expectations of getting to the pole in 49 days. So that's an average of 25 kilometres a day.
Yeah.
And we're 5 kilometres. It was an embarrassment.
So it's the morning of day 5, and that's what we're heading into. There's a huge mountain range out there.
Very hard to motivate yourself when the conditions drop away like that.
I did a lot of falling down because the contrast was just appalling. You're walking on a white sheet, and yet in that white sheet there was a bunch of ups and downs which you couldn't see.
So you must have very quickly adapted, and your best day was...
Oh, not till much later, yeah.
Not too much. The best day was 30 kilometres.
Okay.
They say that this is the windiest continent on Earth, and I don't think they're wrong. It can be really tough to keep slogging it out when the wind is just battering in your face and the snow drift along your feet. It comes up to about your knees, and it's just, it's never ending actually. So you try and take yourself off into another little world.
Under stress, it's very easy to become a little bit annoyed at the most trivial thing.
So you'd be worried that he was pulling less weight?
That's right, and vice versa. So
we would change the sleds after each shift, so to make certain that one of us wasn't pulling a lighter sled. You think it's flat and smooth. You think it's going to be like a packed groom slope on the way to the pole, and it's not. It's rough as anything. It's rough like a mountain
rough
bike
ocean.
track. It's like a rough ocean frozen. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
So here we are on Christmas Day, and Jamie's enjoying his Christmas breakfast. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Oil, a bit of cereal, a bit of milk powder, tiny bit of hot water, and another day in paradise.
It was a very military-styled diet. Everything was bagged up per day. We could only have so much per day.
Had lamb fettuccine tonight, which was just the most disgusting thing out.
We're having the equivalent of 16 Big Macs each day, and yet we lost 25 kilos each. It should be the South Pole diet, not the South Beach diet. And then the fantasies started coming in, and
The closer we got to the pole, the simpler and simpler the food fantasies got.
So I'm thinking we've got 2 milk drinks. We're going to have a teaspoon of vodka in each of them.
oh yeah.
I just wanted to have a piece of Vogel's toast with some creamed honey on top. And I would fantasize about putting on the board, chopping it, how thick I was going to chop it, putting it in the toaster, hearing the little click as it goes in.
Yeah.
The sort of butter I was going to use.
Time to get inside the tent and have a well-earned cup of hot milk. And then in a few hours we'll do it all again and again and again.
This is one of those mornings, it's about 4:30. It's minus 20 outside, it's blowing about 15 knots. It's a bit of a whiteout. It's cold and miserable. We're at 87.55. Getting out of the tent, it's hard work. See a little bit of an horizon. Oh, and Jimmy having a poo.
The piece of advice that I got was that if you ever feel a bit annoyed with someone in your expeditions, you'd wait till you get into the tent at night, wait till you had a meal, wait till you've had a sleep, wait till you've had a meal the next day, and then if it's still an issue then you should raise it.
Okay.
But actually I think we got pretty good at talking about things. We have quite a different view about life because there's this 11-year age difference, so I think Jamie seems to be more optimistic. and I'd say I'm more realistic.
Half the cups are full.
I would open up the tent in the morning and there'd be mostly grey skies, a little bit of blue skies, and Jamie would go, "Oh, it's finding up." And I'm like, "Mate, it's turning to shit."
Today, we died.
The light at the tunnel is a lot brighter and closer, and we're about to come out the other side.
How many hours a day would you pull for?
Between 10 and 12, I think. In the first week, it was
We'd
only
start
about
at 5 in the
7.
morning and go till
About 3
or 4 o'clock. We were very disciplined about our mileage targets, so that at the end of each day, if we once our normal allotted time had stopped, and we'd check our GPS, and if we were 100 yards short, we'd walk the 100 yards to get.
The trap that you get into when you've got 1,200 kilometres in front of you once you start, and you're walking at the speed of a dog lunging on a chain, it's a bit unmotivating. So we were really focused. We broke it into 10 even segments, which coincidentally were the 10 degrees of latitude. So we're really often focusing just on reaching the 81st degree of latitude.
We're out on the polar plateau. We are right before the pole. It's only 10 miles to go.
And we're going to walk these last few miles like kings. Well, we've been walking for 51 days and 3 hours, and we're about 1.5 knots or 1 nautical mile away from the South Pole. And I'm not sure if I'm feeling melancholy because it's over, or I've imagined it so many times and now it's just a cold day, and it's going to be great just to see the dome, the ball and the flags around it. So let's get there.
I suppose you're sick of people asking what's next, eh?
No one's asked.
Good.
It would be nice to do something a bit shorter, something a bit more thrill, like
To the source of the Avon. Could be good, couldn't it?
yeah, that sort of thing.
I was always really aware that a really big part of Antarctica was about the discovery and the hardship and the race to the pole and the exploration. But being here, what I've realised is a really big part of the Antarctic is the animals. BA, before Antarctica, I never really thought or cared much for penguins. They weren't part of my world. I wasn't interested in them. I didn't like the way they were exploited for the chip commercial. I didn't like that nasty penguin in the Wallace and Gromit movies. I didn't like those games where all the penguins go up the things and then skid down. And if anything, I kind of thought they were a bit stupid, a bit ridiculous, a bit comical. But that's par for the course, judging someone before you meet it. Having come down to Antarctica, my views couldn't be different. I love penguins. They're a fantastic animal. They're smart, they're rugged, and they're staunch. They go 2,000 k's across ice to get food, come all the way back to nest in the same place. I get it now. I can completely understand why people are penguin-a-gaga, because they're a brilliant bird. And I think when it comes to my top 5 creatures of the world, penguins would be number 1. And before I came down here, I never liked penguins. Top 5 animals, penguins number 1. I'd go penguins, pandas, polar bears, meerkats, although I think Teresa Gatting's telecoms would have ruined those with all those commercials. But maybe we've not been that fair to the penguin. Maybe we've commercialised it and sort of made it seem a bit unexciting when actually the reality is so exciting. Penguins, pandas, polar bears. Oh, that's the top 3 actually.
Yeah.
But no, they're just a neat little bird.
And right now, for me, I'm feeling slightly crazy and slightly melancholy because my time in Antarctica is about to come to an end.
I don't normally like to ride another man's mountain bike. I would have preferred to report my own. This one, I think with the engineering base, it's actually fairly well maintained. There's not a huge amount of room for mountain biking. There's just this 3K road between Scott Base and McMurdo. The clothing, like all things, is a bit of a hassle. It's quite cool, but I imagine once you go up the hill, you get fairly hot and sweaty. Then the sweat freezes on your back. Then your spine gets stiff. Then you can't move. And that's fairly miserable. But the thing about Antarctica, well, my experience, is the weather has been unbelievably settled. Amazing out there, you know, out there it's just white for miles, almost to the South Pole. So it is completely spectacular. Oh, shades of Honolulu.
If all the world is falling, the sound of voices calling, they point the way with signs that shine on me.
I don't want to sound trite, but I find it very touching that all the Antarctic explorers from the heroic times, when their mates died, they remembered them with these lovingly and beautifully crafted crosses. And I think for my time in Antarctica, the most beautiful and moving things I've seen have been the crosses hand-built by other members of the party to commemorate mates that they've lost on the ice.
It doesn't really matter when time is so fragile.
Antarctica, I wasn't sure I wanted to go. I'm glad I did. I miss it, and I'd be back in a heartbeat. It was much cleaner than I thought. I thought there would be rubbish everywhere. There wasn't. The place was immaculate. And to be there for me, all those books and all those readings and all those stories and all that history, to be there suddenly, it all made twice as much sense because I could see how the whole history went together. So I guess I'm guilty glad. Glad I went, guilty you can't. And Scott Base. Scott Base is a tricky place because it served us fantastically. The staff there are committed, they do a great job. But I wonder going forward what use Scott Base is. Originally it was for scientists, then it was for artists, then it was for cross-dressing dancers. It seems to me Antarctica is a very expensive and pricey place to run a youth hostel. And that's in some ways what it is. And also, I worry about the future of Antarctica because it contains more of the world's most precious resource than anywhere else, and that is water. And I sometimes think when this planet gets really dry and the going gets tough, that World War III over water might happen in Antarctica. And I was worried about the impact Antarctica would have on me, but actually that was very self-centered because the real problem is the impact man and I had on Antarctica. I worry tremendously about the continent. It is fragile. I don't think tourists probably should go there. I think it's only a matter of time before a cruise ship goes aground, there's an oil slick, and there's a huge bun fight about who cleans it up. And that's why I think, somewhat selfishly because I've been there, that perhaps no one should have any contact with Antarctica. Because I think the cost is just too much. I just think maybe walk away, maybe save it. Leave it as it is. Skidoo. Yeah, skidoo. No, skidoo. Skidoo. It's like a ski-doo. Like a, like voodoo. Yeah, like a jet ski-doo. Like a jet ski on ice. I don't think it's Eskimo word, is it? I don't think it's African. I don't think they're going to be on skidoos in Africa, are they? That'd be a sand skidoo. That would be a sand-doo, wouldn't it? Yeah, you could use it in Scrabble, I suppose. I mean, you're going to get 5 for the K.